to the Conscious Father Show. We're happy to have you here today. This is Tom Hillgardner. I'm with Alex Hurd, and we've got an exciting topic today. How you doing today, Alex?
Great, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm really looking forward to not urgently getting into our conversation about urgency.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. So our topic today is going to be how we are approaching, how our tone, our focus, our touch to our children is, and how that impacts how they respond to us and their life. The urgency was just this idea of, really how we're approaching life, how we ourselves, when we get into a busy-minded state of, I got to get this done, and I got to get this done, and I got to get this done, how that can, shorten our breath, which then, creates a sort of rigidity in our thinking. And then when our kids come to us and say, Daddy, can I do this? Or Dad, can you come help me with this? Or, or we walk in the room and they're doing something that we've asked them not to do. Our response when we are busy-minded will come from this place of urgency, and when I say urgency, I can mean get over here and do this. It could be that form of urgency, but what I'm also saying is that it could be the kind of urgency where our delivery, the way in which we come to them.
So that's what resonated with me. What you just said is what resonated with me, because there a lot of times what I do is I get really, really impatient with them when I have asked them to do something. I know that they've heard me, and I almost get into this kind of frenetic pace where I'm like, Rowan, brush your teeth. Okay, brush your teeth, Rowan. And then I'll walk towards her, and I'll pick up the toothbrush and I'll put it in her hand and I'll put toothpaste on it. And I'll be come on, brush your teeth. And it builds on itself, and it becomes this pressurized situation where it doesn't have to be. She's not listening to me, so that elicits the frustration response in me, and that frustration response in me almost is just okay, do it, and she's like, and so that's when I think urgency was the first word in the topic that you put, and then you kind of explained it a little bit. But right when I saw that, I was like, I create this feeling of urgency, pressure, frustration, craziness. Where you can almost feel it in the room.
Yes.
That I'm curious to know how that is going to manifest itself in them down the line if I continue that response to that situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And I think one point that you said, which is how is it going to impact them down the line, is a great way of, being a conscious father, thinking about how it's going to impact their future as they become, young women or for me, young women and young men. But I think another angle that I look at it is how it's impacting the situation at hand, and as fathers or parents, how we might be able to approach them in a different way. And for me, it's this balance beam. It's this teeter-totter, because, sometimes you've asked them 17 times and they're still not doing it. Or sometimes, so there does become a sense of needing to raise the tone maybe, or needing to let them know your seriousness. So it's not like we just kind of keep, oh, I told you, Rowan, go brush your teeth,
So that's it, right? So that's the balance. Because you're not discounting the importance of them listening to what you've asked them to do. And even if it's not a time-sensitive thing, it's not a matter of it being a time-sensitive thing. It's a matter of them knowing that you've asked them to do something. There's a reason why you've asked them to do it, and they need to listen.
Yeah.
But I know that I can do better than that. I can ask her to do something, and ask her a second time. And instead of on that third, fourth, fifth time, start raising that pressure level in myself where, I mean, Rowan will be like, stop rushing me. She says that all the time. Stop rushing me. You're rushing me. And so one, there's some truth to that. And two, quite frankly, she dilly-dallies. She really does. She just drags her feet with everything. She's like always late for school. I mean, I know where she gets that. Let's face it. That's got Jen written all over it. But so
Somebody's in trouble.
So that's another interesting topic, though, right? Like how, what our children get from our, like the habitual, natural things that we do.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's being late or early or crazy, whatever. But so that sense of urgency, that sense of pressure that I am creating in that space, in that moment, I know I need to work on because of their reactions. Because yeah, their teeth are getting brushed, but sometimes their teeth are getting brushed through tears. Literally.
Yeah.
Like, are you freaking kidding me? This is the end of the night and this is how it's ending? They're fighting cavities through tears? Oh, Jesus. Oh, man.
Well, you know, it's this idea, this topic came to me because I had an experience that was short-lived, but it really it gave me an insight. I was in my daughter's room changing her diaper, and she was a little fussy, and Andre was like just being like a little Tasmanian devil, like he was just knocking things over, and I don't remember exactly what was going on, but whatever it was, he was annoying the crap out of me, right?
Give me a minute, okay? It's hammering. I'll be on.
I'll be out in a minute, dang it.
Let me raise the sense of urgency.
So Andre was, you know, just being like too much for me, right? That's really what it boils down to, is he was just being himself. But for me in that moment, it was building, and it was like
really well said. Really well said. That's how I feel.
Yeah. So I asked him to just wait out in the hallway until I finished. So he starts crying and he's hitting the door. And meanwhile, it's like this energy is just building and building and building and building. And so I get Anne's diaper changed, and I don't know what came over me, but I opened the door like super fast, and I said, "That's enough." And it was amazing because he immediately, he was just kind of banging the door, kind of like annoyed, but still in a playful mentality, kind of, you know? And when I opened the door and I threw "that's enough" out, he went, "Ah!" like he, in that moment, I literally had this insight that he took on my energy. Like I delivered it, like a fast food delivery, like here's your pizza, you know, like he was putting out something that was not that.
Yeah.
And I opened it, and literally I could feel the exchange of energy, like an ocean wave rippling out. And I saw it come all over it. Like he was totally confused, like almost like he didn't even know why he was yelling like that. But it was the exact same kind of pissed off anger that I had just given out. And I just immediately, and I'm so grateful for that instant awareness of the fact that he took on my energy and that wasn't fair. And I immediately just dropped down to my knees, and I'm holding Ann, and I just grabbed his hand and I said, "Andre," and I switched the energy completely. I totally, you know, thankfully, because of the awareness of, you know, of the work that I've been doing through meditation and whatnot, I was able to actually witness it then instead of half an hour or the next day. But I just came to him and I said, "Andre, Dad is really sorry." So that was not fair. That was not fair for Dada to yell like that. And I'm really, really sorry. And I said, and it's okay that you yelled. You know, so let's just, you know, let's go have fun. Let's go have a good time. And almost instantly he switched back to, you know, being an innocent, playful kid. But it was.
Can I interject just real quick?
Yeah.
I think that quick awareness, like being aware of it right away and dropping to your knees and kind of getting him down to his level and looking him in the eye and addressing it. Like, I think that goes a really long way than if you had that same conversation with him 2 hours later, because especially at his age, he'll have already forgotten about it. He'll have forgotten about the instant, but who knows what he'd be carrying with him. Do you know what I mean? He may have forgotten that happened, but the impact maybe would still be somewhere inside. So by addressing it right away, you go a long way in stopping that from happening, them carrying that with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's really, really important.
Yeah, I'd like to think so, because I certainly don't want to be, I don't think any parent wants to be, the reason why their children are being angry or misbehaving because they learned that behavior from them.
Yeah.
So I'd like to, obviously we're not out, being a conscious father is not about being a perfect father, but yeah, I think just being able to have the awareness, and then whether it was right away or whether it was that night or the next day. And, one of the things that I've also learned in this week is, sometimes I think that he's a really smart kid. Like, I can say basically anything and he understands me. But I think sometimes I forget as a parent that he is still 2, and not everything I say he interprets the way that it is actually being asked upon him.
Sure.
And I think there are stages of children that they go through certain behavioral things that's normal. It's normal for them. And it doesn't mean that you don't talk with them about it or that you don't have a conversation, but, to just discipline them or to just, put them into timeout or something, and kind of suppress this behavior that they're putting out, without looking at it as okay, he's 2 or she's 5 or whatever. And across the board, if you look at other 2-year-olds, there's a similar pattern that goes on. And so maybe instead of responding with the urgency of frustration and anger, maybe I can be a little bit more understanding of where he is in his journey, and not just his journey, but the journey of human development.
Yeah. When you said that, like that he's still only 2, Rowan is 7. I am so unfair to her. My expectation of what she is understanding, and when the gravity of which I tell her things, I'm expecting her to understand how important it is. She's 7 years old, and she can't possibly, and I am putting that burden squarely on her shoulders. And between 2 and 7, they go through a whole lifetime of experience for that 5-year period, but she's still 7 years old, and I have incredibly unfair expectations of my daughters, and sometimes I'm really good at picking up on that, and sometimes I'm not. Like right now in this moment is one of those moments where I'm like, Jesus, pull back on the reins a little bit, you douche.
Yeah. Well, and I just want to say though, Alex, thanks for sharing that. And I've been around you hundreds of times with your kids, and I've never seen a dad as loving and compassionate and focused and playful and engaged as you. And, you have been an inspiration for me, the way that you interact and the way that your relationship, the way your girls look at you and play with you and respond to you, is a huge testimony to a lot of good that you do as well. So I totally get the part of you and the part of me and the part of all fathers that feels like our expectations are, way too big. And they are. And a lot of times they are. But for you and for our viewers, I just want you to know that you're a damn good dad.
Thanks, man. Thank you. That's good to hear. It's good to hear, because sometimes I feel like I'm not, and it's really nice to hear that from somebody that I trust and that I love, because sometimes I don't give myself that space to believe it. So I'm going to be honest with you, man. I don't want to shock you, but I think we may have just done a show.
We just did one.
It kind of snuck up on us there.
Well, I just want to say another thing, that the thing that I want to deliver, or that I want to share with our father viewers and for, again, mother viewers as well, is the biggest thing that has helped me to be more aware of how I am coming to my children, the kind of energy that I'm coming to them. Am I coming to them with a softness? You know, like if I were to touch your arm, I can touch your arm with a single finger. I can put my hand on your arm. I can put my hand on your arm, or I can put my hand on your arm. There's a lot of different ways in which we can bring our voice, our touch, our eyes. You know, I don't know about you, but some of the looks that my parents gave me were all that I needed to know.
That was it, man. When my mom would start talking to me through gritted teeth, when she just keep the teeth, I knew I was dead. That was all she wrote. That's it. Game over.
Good night. Yeah, so I think that the thing that has helped me as a father to be more aware of how I'm coming across in the moment is being in touch with my body, knowing when my teeth are gritting, knowing when my chest and my belly are tightening. Because I think when we get overcome with those physical sensations, our focus literally, it narrows down like a laser beam, and the thought is only the frustration of what our kids are doing, and not a lot of other things that are going on, or you know, how you might be able to reroute them in a playful way so that they still learn the lesson, but it can be, you know, it can go in a different direction rather than these terrible outbursts and kicking and screaming and all of this. So being in touch with my body has really, really helped me to be more aware of how I'm delivering my tone, my voice, my touch to my kids.
Yeah. That's funny. I got to be more cognizant of all of those things, right? And it's sometimes it's easier said than done when you're you're in that moment, but through conversations like this and in thinking about it when you're not in that moment will help you address it differently when you are in those moments. You know, like I think you have to do that. You have to continuously think about things and want to do better.
Yeah.
The next time. I believe you need to want to. You need to want to be a better father, and you do that by being aware of how you're handling situations. And I said it in one of our other shows, but like, how is it sitting with you? How does that sit with you? And if the answer is it's not sitting so great, then look at it a little bit deeper, and maybe you'll do it different the next time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's a good wrap, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank you everyone for watching the Conscious Father Show, and we hope that you can join us for future shows. Please subscribe to our show. That'll give you an email every time we upload a new episode. You'll get an email letting you know what the new episode is. So thanks a lot.
All right, take it easy.
All right, Alex, take care, bud.
Bye, bud.